If deed of assignment is missing, you still don't not own anything. All right, welcome everyone. I'm very excited to have us today. This is course for those that truly want to do well in real estate with Janet Homes. My name is Dr. Favor Azu. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Janet Homes Limited. Here in Janet Homes, we don't just ask you to make the money. We equip you with the right material, the right information, the right knowledge pack that can enable you not just to make the money, but make it faster. Now, I'm going to be talking on land administration and title, and this is so key. You need to understand that Abuja is different from other states. What works in Lagos may not apply to the city of Abuja. What works in Anambra State, that's that land administration system is different from what you have in Abuja. So it's going to be a very powerful information section that will rightly deliver to you the right value you need to be able to educate your clients so that they can make a more informed decision. When you know these things and be able to communicate it properly to your clients, it doesn't just only put you in the good side, but it position you as an expert, and in that way, you get them coming back to you anytime they want to buy real estate in the city. So stay with me, pay the right attention. But before I go on, I would like to specially thank all our facilitators for this course, very powerful individuals in the industry. Talking about someone like Barrister Raymond Ijoma, the CEO of Fortune Railway Limited, Mr. Andrew Noja, the CEO of Idle Group Developers, and Mr. Moses Abba, the CEO of Hilbert Group. These guys are experts in their own craft, and I'm very grateful that I could put them in to run this thing with us. So, if you're on this journey with us, sit back and let's talk about land administration system and title documentation. All right. So, we're going to be sharing on how real estate almost destroyed my family because we got it all wrong. I had a relative of mine that got a property. The documentation process was wrong, and it almost, as a matter of fact, it brought about a litigation case that lasted for over a decade. And in all these things, when you go through all these stuffs, one of the things that it helped me was it pushed me to understand in depthly how land administration works in the city. Now, we're talking about the different land titles that exist in Abuja as Federal Capital Territory. Now, there are all kinds of lands that exist in the city. Every land is not the same. Every land is not the same. That is why sometimes you may see a land in the same location, two different lands. This one is priced as a certain amount, right? While the other land, that same region, that same location is priced higher. The reason is because the title this one comes with, or rather, the title the other one comes with, is possibly higher than this other person title. So there are different titles that exist in the city. Now we have community land. Community land, these are lands that are located by the chief of a community. So let's assume that I live in a village, a community now. I can go and get a land from that chief. Now, this is not a legal way of allocating lands according to the Land Use Act of 1978. Section 1 of subsection 1 mentions that all land is vested on the state governor. So the state governor have the right to do allocation. And this is the reason why, based on this Land Use Act, going for community land is not legally advised, because at the end of the day, the government does not know you own the land. And anytime the government wants to make use of that land, they can push you aside without any compensation. Then we have what we call the area council land. Now, just the way we have the local government, we have the state government, and we have the federal government, in that same sequence, we have lands that are duly administered and allocated by the area council. We equally have lands that are duly administered and allocated by the state, and as well as lands that have been administered by the federal government. Now, area council land has to do with lands allocated by the area council, right, within a defined geographical territory. Now, under the area council land, you can have area council land that has RFO, you can have area council land that has CFO, and you can have area council land that are regularized with the FCDA. Now, area council that have RFO means that the area council chairman is the one that gave the allocation. Majorly, every allocation primarily within the area council first come with an RFO. Then C of O is what you now process by yourself, either as an individual or as a corporate entity. Okay. So under area council, we have area council RFO, which is the primary title that comes with allocation, right? Then we have the C of O, which is the one you process yourself. Okay. Then we have the regularized area council. Now, regularized means that now, so you got this portion of land under the area council, so you've been allocated, right? But you now want FCDA to take notice of this particular allocation. You now take it to FCDA. And what does FCDA then does? They capture all the data and marry it in the system so that anytime you want to verify this land, you can go to FCDA, that's Aegis now, right? And you see it on the database. So that's what it means if an area council is being regularized. It's safer than just having only an area council land. Having talked about the area council, the next type of land is the FCDA. FCDA means Federal Capital Development Authority. That's what FCDA means. So these are lands that are located by the Federal Capital Development Agency, right? Basically, it's the minister that allocate this type of land because based on the structure of government over here, the minister is like the one that's under the hems of our affair. Of course, they're acting on behalf of the president because it's an appointed position. So he acts on behalf of the president, but then he's the one that oversees the allocation process. Okay. So FCDA lands are usually the highest. There are lands that the government, the federal government is aware of and needs the approval of the federal government. So if the federal government is the highest, that the apex government, followed by the state and the local, what that means is that if you're getting an FCDA land, it's more superior based on the legal status and what is captured in the Land Use Act of 1978. So primarily, the allocation process comes as RFO. It can equally comes as letter of intent. Now, letter of intent majorly goes for projects or land allocation that has to do with mass housing. So we want to do a mass housing project that can cover about 10,000 houses, 5,000 houses, or the government wants this particular location to be more of estates. So what they normally give us is an allocation, an FC allocation that comes with a letter of intent document. So that's what. So under FCDA now we have FCDA letter of intent, we have FCDA RFO, and the allocation can come in any of these two. Then we now have FCDA CFO. Now, CFO, of course, is what you process by yourself, either as an individual or as a corporate entity. So that's it for land title. So we have lands that classified as community lands. We have lands that classified as area council. We have lands that classified as FCDA, all in FCT. So when you're getting a land, you want to find out, is it a community land? Is it an area council land, or is it an FCDA land? There are different zoning that applies in FCT. So as a territory, you can't just decide that you want to build in a certain place what you want to build, right? So there are zoning regulations that guides the type of or what a land be used for. So underneath now we have residential land use, we have commercial land use, we have mixed use, we have industrial, we have recreational park, we have agricultural. Now, residential has to do with location that is specifically mapped out for as a livable location where you can build your residential houses, homes, and all whatnot. Why the commercial has to do with areas that has to do with a trade where trade and business can take place, more like a commerce center, right? So it can be a place of full of financial institutions, banks, markets, shops, and everything. So those ASICs, the government intentionally designed it that way. So you can't come in between and say, oh, we want to do an estate there. So we have the agricultural, especially for farmlands and everything. Areas like Kuje Southwest for this purpose. There are a lot of farmland allocation in Kuje. Then we have industrial. Some of us must have heard of Idu Industrial Zone. Some of us must have heard of Wasa Industrial Zone as well. So These are areas and the zoning regulations that pertains to those areas. And it's so important you know about it because most of the scam in real estate also come by not appropriating the zoning regulation properly. So sometimes someone is building in an estate in a place that government have already mapped out as commercial. And this thing you can easily notify, you can easily know them, by the title code document, because usually specified on the title document. If a place is just solely to be used for residential, is being notified there. If it's to be used for commercial, it's notified there. If it's used misuse, misuse means combination of residential and commercial, is also notified there. Now, before I come to the end of this class, it's very short, but it's very powerful. Some of the information we're getting now, I believe that some of us are just getting to know it. But it's so important that you know them because it will give you a competitive edge above other brokers. So we have what we call the post-purchase process. You know, now the post-purchase process in real estate is where ownership transitions from a paper agreement to a fully recognized legal right. It is also the point where the buyer begins to interact with the property in a practical sense, whether to build, resell, or hold as an investment. Now, what are the benefits of post purchase process? One of them is that it ensures a smooth transition of ownership. You have to understand that real estate transaction does not end at the point of payment. The fact that you verify the land, the fact that the land is FCDA, the fact that is in line with the zoning regulation does not mean that the whole process is completed. You can still make those verification and still make payment, even get your receipt and still don't have right to own the place if you look away from the post-purchase process. And funny enough, a lot of times, most investors, most clients don't get to follow through on this aspect. And I can tell you that some of the scams that have happened in this industry, most of them also come within this process. Now, like I said earlier, one of the benefits that it ensures smooth transfer of ownership. The secondly is that it protects your legal and financial interest. What are the things you look out for? What are the process when you, after making a payment? What are the things you look out for to get? For we are Janet Homes, look at the things we give you, right? One of them is your acknowledgement and receipt, which everyone does. But you have to understand that the fact that you have a receipt does not mean you have ownership. Secondly, is that you get your letter of allocation, right? If you make a 50% down payment with us, we're giving you your provisional letter of allocation. However, at the end of your payment, you also get a letter of allocation. And that's not just it. Now, we also give you what is called deed of assignment. Now, deed of assignment, anytime you make a purchase and you were not given deed of assignment, you own nothing. You own nothing. Even if you are being given a receipt, even if an acknowledgement letter is being given to you and you have gotten your letter of allocation, if deed of assignment is missing, you still don't not own anything. Because why? Deed of assignment is the only legal document recognized by the law, by the Constitution of Nigeria, that transfers ownership or interest in a property from party A to the other party. So when you don't have deed of assignment, honestly, there is no real estate for you. You just paid money and waiting till when the proper handover and allocation will happen. Okay. Then the next thing will also give what we call TDP, right? And of course, the final one is fiscal allocation. Now, all these things are very important, especially deed of assignment is so important. Funny enough, sometimes emphasis are being laid more on fiscal allocation. But even if I do a fiscal allocation for you without a deed, you still does not own that plot or that piece. The importance of deed of assignment cannot be overemphasized. And I've seen a lot of people buy property, buy land, and at the end of the day, they were not given a deed of assignment. So it's important that you know these things, understand the several titles, understand the zone regulations, and understand the post purchase process. And if you've been able to go through this course, you will not have only learned how to sell, you will not have only learned how to carry an inspection effectively, you will not have only learned how to brand yourself, right, profitably, but now you know also about land administration system. At this juncture, we're going to close the curtain, and I look forward to seeing you on the testimonial side of life. See you at the top.